Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy. Welcome to Murder Your Bookie, episode 18. We are in week 16 of the 2020 NFL season. We only have 1 week left after this. Week 17 is probably the hardest week to pick, I would assume. I've never picked week 17 games, but we will obviously be doing that next week. Now, right now, we are pretty much doing very well as of recently. Well, at least I am. Lucas, not on the other hand. Not as much because he's been pushing, doing all these very close bets that just end up losing, which is unlucky. And I think that we're going to be shifting into winning much more this week. So right now, my picks are 30 and 32. In the regular picks, my locks are 11 and 4 to combine to 41 and 36 to make my total ROI 53.25. Lucas is 36 and 25. His locks are 8, 6, and 1, and his total is 44 and 31. So he is still beating me out though here, and his total ROI is 58.67%, and our combined ROI is 55.92%. So if you take in every single pick from this show, you'd be up a little bit of money. So congratulations to you if you have been taking these picks. We've been doing much better recently. I feel we started off really hot, or at least I started off pretty hot, and then I just cooled down, and then I've been getting hotter again here towards the end of the season. So do you have anything to say, Lucas, before we get into here?
Nah, I mean you've been killing it the last couple of weeks. Yeah, I mean that's I definitely need to change something up or maybe just having a bad 2 or 3 weeks here in terms of process. But now we'll definitely bounce back. And yeah, week 17 is tough. We're kind of seeing we're recording this Wednesday. Like now James Robinson may sit. Like we're seeing not that like the Jags are a contender or anything, but we're seeing a lot of these weird injuries, weird sits, weird kind of spots in a lot of these games. But we'll definitely turn it back up here, and we're still profitable. That's all that matters. You're not going to hit every single week, so we're still turning. And you're officially over profit on your picks individually. So at
Feels
52%,
good.
is profit, and you're at 53, so that's good.
Yeah, and another guy who's gonna like maybe miss like the rest of the season is Zeke. I mean, it's just so weird how a guy that you'd think would just play, and now the Cowboys are so out of playoff contention, it feels like they're just gonna sit him down. So let's get into it again, guys. We do these picks on mybookie.ag. The code is in the corner of the screen. Code notoriously at checkout for that big bonus. So make sure you guys check that out as well. It really will help us out, and it's gonna help you out as well. So my first pick here, again, we do this. If you're new here, we do it out of 5 in our confidence. So we start at number 2. We go 1 at the end with our lock. So my second most confident pick this week is the Colts at Steelers, Pittsburgh plus 1.5. Now, Lucas may or may not have a different vibe on this game than me, but it is what it is. I like the Steelers plus 1.5. I feel as though if the Steelers lose this game, they are completely fucked, right? If they don't win this game, they are going to look like frauds again. If Juju can't dance on the other team's logo because this is at Pittsburgh, so they can't unless they like fucking spray paint the Colts logo on their own center field, then there's no way Juju can dance on that and fail the game again. Pittsburgh plus 1.5. There's no way they lose this, in my opinion. I just don't see a way that they can somehow mess up again. They've lost so many games in a row. They went from being the best team in the AFC to the second best team. They may end up getting passed by the Buffalo Bills, and they're going to continue to get passed if they stay in this kind of funk that they're in. I don't think that they're a bad team. I do think they play down to bad teams, which causes this perception that they have because they play down to the Bengals. They're not ready to go. But against the Colts, they have to be ready to go because they have to win this game. They have to know that. If they lose this game, then I have no confidence in the Steelers going forward. I wasn't ultra confident in this until I realized that if they don't get it going here, there's no way that they're going to do anything in the playoffs. So Pittsburgh plus 1.5 is my pick, even though Lucas obviously disputes this, but we'll talk about that a little later. Do you have anything to say on this before you go super and deep into it?
No, I think I'll probably just save mine for my side of the pick, but there's definitely a lot to break down, so I'll just wait till my side.
All right. So who's your second most confident pick here?
Yeah, mine here is kind of in a weird Tennessee and the Packers. I took Tennessee plus 3.5, and I don't even know. Like I do a pick 'em every week, and I pick Tennessee to win this week, but I don't even know what side is the better team. And I think we've talked about this in a lot of games where if you don't really know, like just take the better line. And 3.5 seems pretty good. Like if I were to make this a line, it'd be like -1 for Green Bay. I can't see a way of making this 3.5. So I'm just gonna take the points here, get over the 3. This is a good teaser spot. I mean, both teams, I could list off all their strengths, all their weaknesses, and they match up really well. So this really comes down to who wins the side of the variance in this game. So I'll just take the 3.5 just in case the Packers maybe do slide out and win by a field goal at the end of the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Titans will end up winning this game as well. As a Dolphins fan, I hope the Packers win, but I think the Titans are going to be able to win this one. I think the Titans have looked very good as of recently. In the winter, Derrick Henry just runs so much harder. Maybe it's because it's harder to tackle him in the cold. I don't know how it works, to be honest with you, but it seems like every time it becomes like December, it's impossible to tackle Derrick Henry. They're playing in Lambeau, I believe, which, again, very fucking cold there. Tennessee Titans are a very good team as of recently. Ryan Tannehill has really looked good, and I'm not too sure if I'm sold in on the Packers because the Packers always seem like they're really good, and then once they get near playoff time, they start choking, they start doing all these dumb things, but recently they haven't been doing that. But I do agree with you. This one is very close in what I think the score will be, so I'll take Tennessee plus 3.5 with you. I think this one could be a field goal game, like you said. So I do agree with what you're talking about. So my next pick here, Bills at Patriots. I'm taking Buffalo -7. The Patriots are officially dead. Bill Belichick has been killed 2 years in a row by Brian Flores and the Miami Dolphins. This is just embarrassing. Cam Newton looks awful. The offense looks like they can't move the ball. I honestly don't have any idea how they scored 45 points up against the Chargers 2 weeks ago. It just doesn't make any sense. The Bills are on fire. The Bills should beat them by 14. So I like Buffalo -7. I don't really think there's too much to break down here. I just don't think it's a close game, to be honest with you. What do you think?
Yeah, I just wish this game was like I wish it was like 6.5 is kind of the way I view it. But no, I think Buffalo's gonna run them. But I mean, if seven's not a bad number, it's not like you're gonna. I don't know if you like 6.5, just take seven. Just you might push. Just kind of how it is sometimes if you miss out on the good lines. But no, I definitely think. Um, I think this is a big game for the Bills because if the Steelers win this game against the Colts, which would be a tough win for them, they play the Browns next week, which is another big game, and the Browns
Yeah.
play the Jets, so they should win. So like this, the Bills need to keep up because they're in the number 2 seed right now. So
Mhm.
they kind of have to sort of make a statement, and I think that they're definitely going to try and do that, especially because the circumstances of the Patriots not making the playoffs, not winning the division. I think they're just going to try and hammer down on them in New England this week.
All right. Who is your third most confident pick here?
Yeah, my third. I think this might be the first time I've taken the Dolphins here at -3 against the Raiders. They were -2.5, and I know you already bet it personally, but obviously we take these lines day of recording to make it fair for Snacks and Animal. So -3 is for me for the Dolphins. I guess how to break it down. I think they have the much better defense, and I think when it comes down to it, I'll take a much better defense with an offense that doesn't make mistakes. I would still say the Raiders' offense is probably better. Um, I think Mariota honestly makes them better too, but they don't make mistakes. So you're not going to be worried about a bunch of turnovers, especially against the Raiders defense. But I'm just going to take the better defense here in kind of another must-win game for all these games are must-win games for the Dolphins, frankly, due to the playoff structure. So I definitely think they're going to try and keep the pressure down on them, keep their defense rolling, try and get a Xavier Howard Defensive Player of the Year. Maybe he'll get another pick or a touchdown or something. So definitely a good spot to back the Dolphins here.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Obviously, they're a team I'm going to talk about later for the lock, but pretty obvious to me. I bet the Dolphins 7 million times my lock. They're the best record against the spread, and I think that this is going to be a murder spot for the Dolphins. But I do think the Raiders' offense isn't bad or anything, but I agree with you. I actually think they may be better with Mariota, but Mariota is also more prone to do something real stupid compared to Derek Carr, which
Mhm.
against a defense like the Dolphins is going to really not pay off for the Raiders. So my fourth most confident pick here is the Los Angeles Rams up against the Seahawks in Seattle. Now the Rams just lost what might be the worst game I've ever seen in football history up against the Jets. There was no way they should have lost this game, but they lost. The Raiders almost lost them, but then Greg Williams called up that heat. Dr. Heat is what they call Greg Williams, and he just fucking sent the house at Derek Carr, and Derek Carr threw a touchdown. Then they don't have many more, so they go ahead and they actually fucking win a game, which is just so stupid. And they lose to the Rams, or they beat the Rams, I should say. And now the Rams are playing Seattle. Seattle is a team that I don't understand at all. Sometimes this offense is cooking like a 5-star chef Gordon Ramsay, and then the other time they look like fucking McDonald's and they're not cooking at all. They're just heating the food back up. So I don't know what to think up against the Seattle Seahawks here. But what I do know is that the Rams are in a bounce back spot. The Rams are a playoff team, but you get a different Rams every single week. That's kind of the hardest part about betting them. That's why they're not like top 3 in confidence is because I feel like one week the Rams look like one of the best teams in the NFL. The next week they could look like they don't even deserve to be in the NFL. And if there was relegation in the NFL, they would be relegated. So I genuinely don't have a super strong feel about this, but I do think that with Seattle's inconsistencies as well, I'll take the Rams plus 1.5, hoping that they wake up and smell the roses after they got beat the shit out of by the Jets. So what do you think here?
Yeah, this is a weird game. I don't even know like who the better team is at this point. Like what the line should be. Like usually in these games, like in the past, we've seen like -1, -1.5. I think it's staying pretty consistent, obviously, because that is the line in this game. So I don't know. I just think it's more maybe you just take the points because it's a coin flip at this point. Maybe you take the Rams because they're off the worst loss and shoot, I don't even know how long it could be. I guess for a team, they're down by one and or down by 2 games now, I think, in the division. So they're kind of clawing their way back out of here. So maybe you just take the Rams, but I don't really have a strong side on this one.
Yeah, I get that. This one is really a coin flip game, but I'll just take the team that just got beat the shit out of by the worst team and hope that they actually play decent next week. So who's your fourth most confident pick here?
Yep, my fourth most here is the Vikings +7. The Christmas Day game against the Saints. This might even get to 7.5. I don't think the Saints at this point have it in them to win double digits or 8, 9 points, I guess you could say, or just to win by more than one score against a team. And it's kind of weird to say because they're like what 11 wins or 10 wins or something. But I just think that the Vikings
Yeah.
always play them close. They just lost to the Bears. They're kind of like have to win now mode. The Bears play the Jags, like so they kind of have to crawl back out of the hole they dug themselves in. I think +7's just too many points. When in reality, both these teams line up pretty much evenly on most aspects. The Saints defense edges them a little bit, but I think Vikings offense is good, just as good or maybe even better, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't understand the Saints, if I'm being honest with you. Drew Brees just does not look good anymore. I don't know how he's going to play next year. I don't know how people assume he's going to come back. There's no way he can. He just does not look good. The deep ball is not there anymore. I don't know. This offense looks worse with him, which makes no sense. Taysom Hill isn't even a fucking quarterback, and they look better with him under center. So I like the Vikings +7. The only thing is this is a primetime game, which screams Kirk Cousins' complete and utter collapse on Christmas.
Well, it's at 3:30. So like, is that considered a prime time game or like?
Well, Kirk Cousins is a man of God, so he made me thinking about
That's
Christ
true.
himself instead of football.
That is fair. I
Like,
don't
keep
know.
that
I
in mind.
just like why couldn't we get like I don't know Steelers Colts on this day? I don't know. Like if Vikings Saints, maybe in theory it sounded good last week, but like not really.
This is a rivalry game, which the fucking Vikings always end up winning, and
Mhm.
it's close to playoff time, so maybe the Vikings skew one up here, but they don't have Stephon Diggs anymore to dance on Sean Payton's grave after he beats them. So I agree with you though. Vikings +7. I don't think the Saints are very good, like you said, and I worry a lot about the Saints in the playoffs, unless for some reason Jameis or Taysom Hill start playing or something, because Drew Brees just does not look like the guy he used to be anymore. And without Michael Thomas, it's very scary in this game, especially because Emmanuel Sanders, your boy, didn't look that great in that game. And then plus, after Emmanuel Sanders, like
Really.
Traquan Smith, they don't really have that many names, to be honest with you. So I like Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't know. Their power back is Taysom Hill anyways, so who even knows what they're doing?
All right, so my final pick before we get into the locks, I got Browns at Jets under 47. This one just screams no points on the board, or the Browns just beat the shit out of them and the Jets can't score at all. I think, unlike last week, the Browns will actually be prepared for this Jets team. Why? Because they just saw what happened to the Rams. They just saw, hey, maybe we need to actually pay attention because the Jets, if we're not trying, will actually be able to beat us. And I think that the Browns will be ready. And I don't think that the Browns are going to lay a real smackdown here. So I think under 47, because I think they should just run the ball a million times. But I say that every week for the Browns in all my fantasy videos. And then Baker just throws like 3 tugs and they don't run the ball as much as I think. But this game just screams Nick Chubb gets the ball 40 times and they come out here scoring like 24 points. And the Jets just, I don't think, can score the rest that they would need to get over 47. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think this is a solid pick, unless we're going to project the Jets to score over 20 points again, which probably not. I think they've done it like twice this year, maybe three
Yeah.
times. And the Browns front seven's pretty good. And I think if you're a good front seven against the Jets, you just kind of eliminate their ability to turn the clock, which that's all they did against the Rams. Like I don't think the Rams defense played bad by any means. They just couldn't get the third down stops,
Yeah.
which the Browns should get this week. So yeah, definitely an under spot in this game.
All right. So what is your fifth most confident pick? Then we're going to the locks.
Yep, I'm doing Eagles minus 2.5 against the Cowboys. Completely just backing Jalen Hurts' his playmaking ability. Both defenses are playing about the same. Cowboys defense has been playing pretty good for what they were beginning of the year. Cowboys offense is pretty stagnant around kind of average. I just think that Jalen Hurts kind of provides some more juice to this team clearly that they needed, even with the lack of weapons. So I'm just going to back. I mean, both these teams I think are one game out of the the division lead. I think
Yeah.
if the Eagles win, they actually take ownership of the division because I think they had the tiebreaker over the football team. So I think they're just going to try and win this and take that back. So I'm just going to back Hurts on the under. The line's under 3 right now, so I'm just going to take it.
Yeah, earlier I talked about how Zeke might not play because the Cowboys are dead. I just assume the Cowboys know that they're dead. Like, I don't know why they would want Zeke to get hurt in this game. So I do think Pollard plays. And I honestly think Pollard might be better than Zeke at this point, which kind of scares me a bit for Philly. But Jalen Hurts has looked unreal. While he lost last week to the Cardinals, he did dethrone the Saints. And I think that here, this is a really good spot up against the Cowboys. The Cowboys defense isn't great. They are very bad against the run. So if Miles Sanders is able to get loose in this one, this could be a real dagger into the Cowboys defense. So I like the Eagles here a lot. I was going to put them, but I didn't want to pick the same game as you multiple times or anything. Wasn't trying to jack your swagger here. So I do like the Eagles minus 2.5. I think the Eagles win by a lot though in this. I don't think it's going to be even, if the Eagles win, I don't think it's going to end up being any close at all. But if the Cowboys win, it probably will be. So what is your lock here? Because then we'll go to my lock.
Yep. So I did take the Colts minus 1.5. I don't know. I think we're just going to continue to think the Steelers are going to bounce back, and I kind of did at first. 'Cause I figured they're going to try and get their ring, and then from there, that would set up the passing game. They didn't try and do that at all against the Bengals, and like it just, I don't know, their passing game, like it just did not look like it was a passing game, and it's so weird because, like I said, I don't know, they're so good. But I think really what it was that their defense played so good at the beginning of the year that it masked the lack of offense that is
Yeah.
now. And the Colts defense is like top 5 in the league. They're literally on the complete different spectrum of the 32 teams as the Bengals. They're in a big game. They're trying to win the division, I think, or keep winning the division. I don't remember. I know
No,
it's
the
pretty
Titans are
close.
winning the division right now, but it is close.
So if they win this, they make a statement. Clearly, the Steelers then have to go win against the Browns next week for the division. Never thought I'd have to hear that come out of my mouth. Yeah. So basically, it comes down to the next week for the Steelers Browns, pending the Colts win this game. So yeah, I'm just gonna back the Colts here. They have a better quarterback, better run game, much better run game. Honestly, better passing game. Like I don't. It's just hard to like find any like where the Steelers win is maybe front 7, but I don't even know. Colts defensive line is like top 3 in the league right now, so I'm just gonna take the 1.5 here. This could swing to the Steelers' favor, or this could get outside 3 for the Colts. So I definitely, if you have a good feel for it for the Colts, take it now.
Yeah, the problem is I just don't see the Steelers losing again. They can't lose again. That's my only thoughts. Like I do think the Colts are a better team. I think that if this was a playoff game, the Colts beat the shit out of the Steelers, but I don't know. The Steelers just they've lost so many games in a row that I feel like this is just their bounce back game. But obviously I could be wrong because my brain really does tell me the Colts, but I'll take the Steelers because I just really don't feel like they can lose again. They've just looked so bad, and this is real competition that they'll play an equal game to at least hopefully, because Tomlin just always coaches down. In my opinion, just does not like against Dallas. They should have beat Dallas by 1 million earlier in the season up against Gilbert Godfrey, the quarterback, and then they almost lost to Dallas. So that's just my feel on the game. I do understand though, Indianapolis minus 1.5. So my lock of the week, again, Lucas talked about it before. Miami minus 3. I take the Dolphins all the time as my lock. They're so good against the spread, and this game screams the Dolphins have to win this game. As a Dolphins fan, I think this is a game we get next week up against the Bills. Genuinely no clue if we win or lose that game. I really have no idea. But up against the Raiders, we have to win this one in Las Vegas. The Raiders just lost a crushing game to the Chargers. The Chargers didn't look good at all in this game, in my opinion, and the Raiders still ended up losing. The Raiders just don't look that great, in my opinion. Their defense is not good. If Tua just doesn't make any mistakes, like you said earlier, he threw a pick in that game against the Patriots that he knows he should not have thrown. That was such a dumb fucking pass. He should have just ran it in, which he did do later in the game twice. I think Tua will continue to learn and look better, and I think the Dolphins defense will just clamp down Mariota or Derek Carr if his groin is okay. I assume Mariota plays, though, obviously, but Dolphins -3 to me. I think the number is going to continue to move. This video is probably going to be posted either today or tomorrow on Christmas Eve. So the line may have even moved further for the Dolphins because I don't think that the Raiders stand much of a chance in this one up against the Dolphins defense, who has turned a team over 20 games in a row. And this should easily be 21, in my opinion. So obviously, you talked about it earlier. So there's no real need, unless you want to say something else about the Dolphins. We could probably just get out of here.
Nope.
All right. Yeah. Dolphins -3. Again, this is just strictly based off the fact that the Dolphins are in must-win category and that their defense is so good. So, do you have anything to say before we get out of here?
I don't think so. We'll see. I remember I keep saying I promised 10-0 week. I don't know if it's going to be this week, but before the
Well, it
season
can't
ends,
be this week because we both picked differently. Because you took Indianapolis -1.5, I took Steelers 1.5.
Well, okay,
9-1.
Go 9-1. We'll go for a 9-1 week, and whoever wins. Well, yeah. Well, no. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Yep. 9-1. 9-1.
9-1 this week. All right. So thank you guys all for watching this video. I hope you guys did enjoy again. Mybookie.ag code notoriously at checkout helps us out a whole ton. Thank you very much for watching. Next week, week 17, and then we're going to get fired up for the playoffs. Excited for that, obviously. Hopefully you guys have been taking our picks. Hopefully you guys have been winning. And leave down below in the comments if you have any picks you'd like to talk about. I always read them, and if I find the picks to be interesting, I always send them to Lucas, even though every question is related to fantasy, even though this video has nothing to do with fantasy. So thank you guys for watching. Follow Lucas on Twitter at @Kaser_Lucas. That's your Twitter, right?
Yeah.
It's on your screen right now as well. Make sure you follow him on there. He did tweet once a couple of days ago attacking Danny for being a Cowboys fan, because you guys do need to have that confidence that Danny has for a team that he thought would have 11 wins, now has, what, 4? So
Something maybe
something
4.
like
I don't even know what the past.
5, maybe. Who knows? Fuck the Cowboys. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your guys' day. I love you all. Good boy.